Fifth graders, today we're going to be working on subtracting with unlike denominators. And like addition, we're going to be following the same steps. So first thing, you'll notice our two fractions, 3/5 minus 2/10. And I notice that their denominators are different. So the first thing we need to do is we need to find the LCM. So find LCM. And remember, that's least common multiple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list out the multiples. I'm going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, and I'm going to do the same thing for 10. 10, 20, 30, And right now I'm looking for the smallest multiple that they both share, and I notice that's 10. So I'm going to go ahead and circle 10. Now looking over at our fractions, I want to have a 10 in the denominator. I notice this one doesn't have it, so I know I'm going to have to change that one. But if I look at my second fraction, it already has a 10 in the denominator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite that fraction and keep it. Now I need to think, what do I need to multiply to this 5 to get a 10? I know that 5 times 2 is 10, so I'm going to put times 2. And remember, whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. And now I'm ready to multiply across. So let's try. 5 times 2 is 10, so I'm going to put my 10 in the denominator. 3 times 2 is 6. So notice what we did. What we did was we changed the fractions. So I'm going to put change fractions. So now we're ready for step 3, and that's to subtract the numerators. So I'm going to put subtract numerators. And just like how you learned in 4th grade, once your denominators are the same, you leave them alone. So this is going to stay as 10. And I'm going to subtract the numerators. 6 minus 2 is 4. And I'm going to put a box around that answer because that's one of my answers. Now, step 4 is something that your 5th grade teachers would love for you to attempt, and that's to simplify. That's to make it as small as possible. So I'm going to rewrite my 4/10 down here. And I'm going to think of my greatest common factor. What's the largest number that I could divide into both of them? And that's 2. So remember, whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. And now I'm just going to divide across. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So notice, we just found 2 equivalent fractions or 2 answers. So our answer could be 4/10 or 2/5. So let's try another one. Let's look at our next fraction. So I want you to go ahead and look at your paper. Notice we have 3/4 minus 1/3. So going back up to step 1, we need to find the LCM. So I'm going to put LCM. And if you need support, I'm going to go ahead and list out some multiples. 4, 8, 12, 16, And I'm going to try the next one. 3, 6, 9, 12, And I notice the smallest multiple that they both share is 12, so I'm going to circle my 12. Now these both don't have a 12, so I'm going to have to change both fractions. So I'm going to go ahead and put a 12 in the denominator because I know that's what I need. And I'm going to look at my first fraction. What do I need to multiply to this 4 to get that 12? Well, 4 times 3 is 12. Whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. Now I can multiply across. 4 times 3 is 12. 3 times 3 is 9. So we just changed our first fraction. Now let's try our next one. 3 times 4 is 12. Whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. 1 times 4 is 4. So now we're on step 3. We can subtract these. Notice my denominator stays the same. 9 minus 4 is 5. Now, if we wanted to take it up a notch and try step 4 to simplify, I'm going to look at it. Well, I notice that 5 is a prime number, which means my fraction is already in simplest form. So this is my final answer. I'm going to go ahead and box it. So something I want you guys to be aware of, 5th grade, is do rewatch the video if you need to, and we'll upload a bunch of things that can support you. But be sure to check your notes, check the video if you need to one more time.